Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be seeing what happens if you end up taking a night folk into town in RDR 2. So I was inspired to do this when I saw my friend Outlaw Gary do something very similar a couple of days ago, and this will be continuing the series of us attempting this. We've done this with KKK members, the Wolfman, the Bray from the Aberdeen Pig Farm. So today we are going to be doing this with the Night Folk. Now, if you have no idea who the Night Folk are, or you've never experienced them, well, you're in for a treat today. So to give you guys a simple description, the Night Folk are a bunch of crazy psychopathic killers who live in and around the swamps of the bayou in Lemoyne. And they essentially attack people by setting up traps at night, and then they rob, loot, and pillage everything of value before brutally murdering their victims in extreme, gruesome ways. They can sometimes be seen carrying the corpses of their victims and dead bodies, and can be found in hanging form and strapped to trees all over the swamp. They only use bows and melee weapons, and they wear tattered, torn, heavy-worn clothing, and at other times they can be found covered in dirt for camouflage and wear primitive handmade garments. Now, I've actually covered a secret mission that you unlock if you do interact with these Night Folk for the first time. I'll leave a link to that video in the description. Today we're going to be finding out what happens if you bring one of these to town. So there's several different Night Folk encounters that you can ultimately have in game. This first one I ran across, there was this X marked on the map, and it looked like the Night Folk had someone strung up by a tree, and I was kind of interested in this one, and it's supposed to be an ambush. And when I did this the first time, I was thinking to myself, okay, here we go. We're just gonna, hog tie a couple of these guys up. Everything is gonna go perfectly fine. And then this guy over here with his Bowie knife ended up insta-killing me. So you got to be careful around these Night Folk because they do have insta-kill-like abilities. And if you get ambushed by them, there is a chance you could die and you'll lose whatever you're going for. So that's the first encounter that you can have. Now, if you happen to run across that body hanging by the tree, and this time you're able to actually take the body down and kill off the Night Folk, unlike me, you can actually find a Night Folk victim's note inside, which reads this: "If you find this, I am dead. The Night Folk haunted my dreams, and now they haunt my waking hours too. I have tried to evade them, but it's only a matter of time, I feel, before I'm bested. The silence is overwhelming. Pray for me." Wow, that is really creepy. I don't know if that guy wrote that or if the Night Folk wrote that. But either way, I've never seen that message before. So again, it gives you a better idea of some of the interactions you can have with these crazy folk. There's also another one where your horse will get spooked, and then, you'll get ambushed by them on both sides of the trees. That actually happened to me on the very first time I encountered these Night Folk when I was trying to unlock that secret mission to find Night for it. I was simply just galloping my horse in the bayou at night, which is not a good idea, by the way. And then I ended up getting attacked, and that's what triggered the mission. And the third encounter that I've at least seen so far seems to be sort of a trap that the Night Folk ultimately set up. So I was actually looking for this, so I wasn't too shocked this time, and I saw this white blip appear on the minimap. And I'll let you guys take a listen to what happens next because it's pretty creepy and it's pretty insane. Take a listen to this right here.
Man, you all right? Ma'am? You okay, ma'am? Talk to me. Oh, shit! Shut up!
So as you guys saw there, that man or woman, I'm really not too sure yet, looked like she was crying or lost in the woods. Arthur comes to help. He asked her a couple of questions, or him, again, we still don't know. And then the Night Folk try and ambush us. And what I actually did is I hogtied the person who was trying to entrap us, and I kept them alive. And they're the person we are going to be experimenting with today. So because it is super dark right now and it is in the pitch black of night, I basically wanted to wait until daytime until I did anything with this individual. So what I did was I just simply looted the night folk, who, by the way, have like the weirdest things on them, like bat carcasses and weird plants and opened predator bait, like very strange items. And even looting the individual who set the trap for us, guess what they had? 1 cent, a silver tooth, and an apple. Like, what a random assortment of goods that an individual could possibly have. But either way, we got what we were looking for. We accomplished hogtying a night folk, and now we can begin to do some experiments. So unlike a lot of the other people that we've captured before in the past, like KKK members or the Wolfmen, they always typically tend to be pretty chatty and pretty talkative. This night folk person, however, was not. They did not say anything, and that does not surprise me given the nature of the night folk. Because according to their Wikipedia page, they do not speak but make animal noises to signal their attacks on people, and many people are not even sure whether or not the night folk are actually truly human. So that's what we're going to find out. Now, unlike vampires, night folk are known to stage attacks during the daytime, but they have a much heavier presence during the nighttime. So I wasn't really worried about something happening to the night folk during the daytime. I was just simply waiting for the daytime because I know it'd be a lot easier for you guys to see. So once it became daytime, I wanted to check out who was on the back of our horse a little bit more. And I wanted to see who this individual was. So I definitely think they are human, just like a very strange version of a human. And I still can't tell if this is a guy or a girl. Now, Arthur thinks that this was a female because if you guys remember back to that little trap they set up, he was asking if she's okay, ma'am. He always kept referring to the person as ma'am. But I'm convinced that this person is actually a man. I don't know about you guys, but I'm convinced that that is not a female. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Maybe you can give us some better insight on what gender you think this person is. Either way, they're still very creepy. So now that we had them on the back of our horse and it was sufficiently daytime, I wanted to bring them into town. And I suspected that something was going to happen, that the second we brought them into town, we were going to get wanted for kidnapping. For whatever reason, this game doesn't seem to differentiate between an innocent little person or like a swamp nightmare killer. They did this with the KKK, with the Wolfman, and whenever you bring someone hogtied to the back of your horse into town, if they're not part of a mission, you're going to be wanted for kidnapping, and that's the exact same thing that happened here. So unfortunately, we weren't able to get a crazy reaction out of the NPCs or the policemen or anything like that. We were even in Saint Denis too, where you think the players of this world would have some sort of adverse reaction to the night folk because they probably have to deal with them the most. But nonetheless, I knew I probably wasn't going to be able to stay in here very long and that I probably had to go back out towards the swamps. So that's exactly what we did, and I figured my time keeping this person hogtied was done. So I took them off the back of my horse and I decided I was going to set them free, and something weird happened. The second I let them free, they became a witness to me murdering someone. Murdering who? It was so weird. But it also gave me a better look at this person. You can see like the white in their eyes. That is really strange. It almost looks as if like they are a ghost, like they aren't actually a human. So I wanted to deal with that because that person was going to get me wanted for murder. So I tied them up and then I let them go again. And they were not a fan of what I had just done. As you guys can see here, they sort of got into like this fighting stance. And then I was being grappled over and over and over again. And this is where something incredibly strange happened. I was stuck in this grapple mode with this night folk. I literally couldn't move. I couldn't take out any weapons. I couldn't shoot. I couldn't run away. And this is what was happening to me over and over and over again. And I thought I was going to be stuck in this forever. I mean, it felt like I was in a never-ending UFC move right here where I was just getting grappled by the other fighter and they wouldn't let go. And then something strange happened. Then they grabbed me by the neck and they wouldn't let go and I couldn't get out. You guys can see the mash circle to escape. Yeah, I never had that option. I was spamming circle and I couldn't get out. I was literally stuck face to face with this night folk who was just pushing me backwards into the swamp. And I will tell you guys, this is absolutely terrifying. We started getting thrown in the mud. We were getting closer to the swamp. It started raining. This is one of the most horrific experiences of my life, I will say. And then somehow, some way, I was able to escape. I don't know what happened, but I was eventually let free from the grasp of the night folk. And I was eventually able to run away and make my escape. I'll tell you guys, that was the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced in my life. I definitely do not recommend that. And then what was really weird, this guy started chasing after me, and then he became normal. He became like a normal civilian that looked like they were just slightly injured. And you guys can see he's just kind of walking through the swamp. But what this did is it gave us a really good view of like the actual night folk themselves. So I think this is confirmed that this is a guy, definitely not a girl. Maybe you guys can, again, let me know in the comments down below. But this is pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And then after that, they got really, really spooked and apparently didn't like me following them around. And so, which is kind of ironic, by the way. This person didn't like me following them around when that's what they do for a living. They stalk people in the woods. And then they eventually started taking off, like sprinting. So I said, not so fast. You're not going to get away, not after all that you've done. So I actually hog-tied them up. And then it was time to feed them to the alligators. But anyways, I thought this was an incredibly fun experiment. I kind of had a good idea of what was going to happen if I brought them to town. Like in the back of my head, I was thinking maybe there's a 5 or 10% chance that, you know, everyone will start applauding because I captured a night folk. But no, you just get caught for kidnapping. But what happened when we got back in the woods was shocking. Like the UFC grappling move that happened and getting stuck against them. I don't know if that's a glitch or if something Rockstar intends you to do, but either way, it scared me half to death. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more on what we did today in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.